Hi everyone, welcome back to Daily Freddo. I seriously can't believe what I come across sometimes when doing my research and reading news. For example, look at this. Transracial, exclusionary, anti-racist. Call this blackface. We call it transracial and proud. Why am I showing you this? Because this woman has been a target of media mockery all over the world. She's a white woman who identifies as black. She also, as you see, presents as black.
You're Australian! Be Australian! Excuse me, Kangaroo Jack.
She was ridiculed and made fun of. People even got angry, stating it's cultural appropriation. It's blackface. It's racism. But it's also 2023 now, and things are a bit different. Now it's called RCTA, or Race Change to Another. Here is an article by NBC explaining this phenomenon. Inside the online world of people who think they can change their race, practitioners of race change to another, or RCTA, purport to be able to manifest physical changes in their appearance and even their genetics to truly become a different race. Yes, we are dealing with a new form of identity crisis, where people meditate and hypnotize themselves into becoming a different race. Of course, this was to be expected with how things were going in our society. Apparently, the most popular transition is to Asian, specifically Eastern Asian countries, Japan or South Korea. But the article continues and it explains a bit more how RCTA works, actually. Since before she hit double digits, Alyssa, 15, said she has felt a special connection with Japan. The high school student who asked to be anonymous for fear of being doxxed online was born in Ukraine and lives in Maryland. But she now goes by the Japanese name Miyuki and listens to subliminals that promise she will wake up and be Japanese.
Nani?
So far, she believes that by listening to YouTube videos with lo-fi music and photos of East Asian facial features while she sleeps, her vision has cleared, her eyelids have become smaller, and her hair is just a bit darker. Okay, it's stupid, but she's 15. I remember at that age, me and my friends would sleep with our textbooks under our pillows, believing that it would magically transport the knowledge into our brains.
This big brain time.
We can't prove it worked, but we also can't prove it didn't. I ran to TikTok. I know that this is the platform where I'll find proof of this insanity actually happening. And before I show you what I found, I want to point out to you one major hypocrisy, not only in the media covering this topic, but also users who comment on this whole thing. Most people who identify as transracial are being ridiculed, schooled on how race is more than just a skin color or how it's about the experience, culture, journey, and so on. The article itself contains this advice. I would say the same thing that I would say to somebody who's struggling with any part of their identity, Nadal said. Talk about what it is that makes you want to change that part of you. In other words, go get help, figure out underlying psychological causes before transitioning into another race. But get a guy a wig and pair of heels, suddenly he's a freaking woman. Just wanted to say it right now, so you can notice it too throughout this whole episode and get frustrated with me. These mostly young girls watch and listen to videos like that that's supposed to contain subliminal messaging in order to penetrate into their subconscious and change their appearance. Here is a video that's supposed to help people with power of suggestion to visualize what they want, in this case, Asian face features. Fatty tissue around and on the eyelids, creating tempered or monolith-typed eyelids, flat orbital bones, flat frontal bones, straight maxilla, prominent white cheekbones. They're literally describing the Asian face, and then they hypnotize themselves to believe that their face will change according to that. So this one says not all Asian features are the same. And here is the mantra, yeah? My subliminal will supply you with these same features, female in the picture. All results are idea and desirable, you will get everything you want. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
You are now completely asleep. You don't need to smoke. Cigarettes don't control you. You are strong, confident woman.
Guys, this is not a joke. It's a real thing. There are TikToks like this one documenting their transitioning journey. I'm not kidding. This works. I drank a lot of water and I listened to overnight for 3 nights and I woke up with a flatter nose and monoliths. So it worked. Another one. My jaw got slimmer. My mom noticed too. Edit. I listened to it overnight. My face is more oval shaped and my jaw is V-shaped. My eyes are darker too. I mean, it's just crazy. Another identity crisis that young girls fall victims to. Funny enough though, it's the trans community that's the most pissed off about RCTA. Look at this Reddit. I really dislike RCTA people. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of videos about RCTA or ECTA. ECTA is ethnicity changing to another, whatever. This means race, ethnicity change to another. They claim to be in the LGBTQ and have even created their own slur, Rani. Luckily, it seems like the majority of people agree that this is wrong. These people often associate themselves with trans people, which I really dislike because their notion not only has nothing to do with us, but it's also very racist. I just can't. As a response to this thread, let's listen to this.
Said transracialism makes more sense than transgenderism.
How?
Because race is actually a spectrum. Race is actually a social construct. Gender is binary. There's male and female, that's it. There's nothing else, right? Race is actually a spectrum, right? If I were to have a child with an Asian woman, my child is going to be mixed. If she is mixed and we have a child, the child is going to be, race is it's actually a social construct. Yes, it's based on our DNA and ancestral history, but these terms we use, nobody's actually black, nobody's actually white, no one's actually these literal colors, right? If someone is mixed race, with the fact that we even call them black, right? If we call Drake black or we call Barack Obama black, right? They're just as white as they are black, but due to the social construct, we call them black in many cases. So it's actually socially constructed and it's genuinely a spectrum. You can meet someone and you're like, okay, what race are you? And it's like, well, I don't know, like, my grandparents are from here, my mom's from here, my dad's from here.
Pretty logical, right? Yet apparently we are very afraid to speak about it. We have Dylan Mulvaney, for example, who's been benefiting financially off of mocking women and womanhood, yet that's socially accepted. Not only accepted, glorified. We have biological men screaming how they make better women than biological females. Can you imagine any transracial person saying it about black people? People would lose their minds. Yet we still get to see arguments like this one.
Trans people can change their gender. People can change their race too. Sweetie, here's the thing. No, you can't. The logical and obvious difference between gender and race is that race is not socially constructed because race has to deal with your physical skin color. And before you even think about commenting, oh, but the same thing applies to trans people and their body parts. Gender has absolutely nothing to do with body parts because gender is a social construct, meaning that your gender can be changed to match whatever identity you feel most connected to. You can't do the same thing and choose to be white. If you're gonna be transphobic, at least be more creative.
You can tell by the comments that people truly think it's ridiculous. But shouldn't we be afraid? Many things before that seemed ridiculous, yet now are accepted as normal in the society. This guy went around and asked people actually if it's possible to be transracial and if it's okay to be transracial. And then he asked the forbidden question, if it's okay to be transgender, and what's the difference? So let's see.
I want to show you a couple pictures of prominent figures rocking blackface and get your reaction to it. Is that all right?
Very interesting. I did not. Okay.
This is Rachel Dolezal, who was a president of a chapter of NAACP, who identified as transracial. She said that she was born in the wrong body, that she identified as black. This is Ted Danson at the Friars Club Roast in New York City. This is Sarah Silverman in blackface on her TV show. What do you think of when you see these images?
Not good. It's really bad.
Do you think people can identify as a certain race?
No, I do not believe you can identify as a certain race.
So do you think identifying as a different race is offensive?
This is a very good question. I think, I don't know. You can't become something that is recognized off of skin color if you weren't that skin color your whole
Right,
life.
because it's biological. Do you think that people who claim transracial are making a mockery of real black people?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about woman face. Have you guys heard the term woman face?
No.
Have you heard this term? So this is men who identify as women and then they benefit socially and financially from many cases. Do you guys know Dylan Mulvaney?
No.
So he transitioned, and after he transitioned to a woman, he has millions of dollars in brand deals. You have Leah Thomas, who has William Thomas, ranked very low on the swimmer scoreboards. After transitioning, was #1 in the country.
It's bullshit to me that you reap benefits for something you're not.
I think that is a completely different story. Being transgender is something where you can genuinely be born with different biological features or whatever, and that doesn't contribute to gender or like societal norms at all. I think those are two completely different things.
Is woman face offensive?
I don't think that's woman face. I think those are people who were born in the wrong bodies, who are becoming themselves.
So if you can identify with a different gender, why can't you identify with a different race?
The biological side of it, because race has no biological connections whatsoever. It's purely based off of physical appearances.
I just asked you if it was biological. You said yes.
You see the double standard here? How does it even work in people's minds? How do they not see the connection and the hypocrisy of it all? It's okay to be transgender because it's okay to be born as a person that feels like there are a different gender inside, all well accepted. It's great if a man with beard and big muscles suddenly decides to be a woman, but if someone decides, you know what, now I'm black, it's not okay. Let's choose one, okay, and stick to it. Some comments said, lol, I've been dying to see this type of video. Well, here it is. Do they not see how contradictory this is? No, they don't, because one is socially acceptable, apparently, for some reason, which I don't understand, and one isn't. But maybe not for long. The fact that people are clearly scared to speak about this is mad. Yes, they're scared. You can get cancelled or doxxed online only by slightly offending someone who's on the other side. I know that this whole thing seems harmless, using law of attraction to become a different race. Harmless, right? But what if it goes a step further? We all know the influencer Ollie London, who's had around 20 surgeries to look South Korean. We also heard jokes that soon we will have trans species. And the next thing I see is an article about a guy who spent $22,000 to look like a dog. Where does this insanity stop? How much should we be affirming and accepting? And don't even get me started on furries community. But as always, I want to know what you guys think of it all, so let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more content from me, you can click on one of those videos. And of course, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications to never miss another Daily Freddo episode. That's all for today. Have a good one.
Do you see the hypocrisy here?
I do see the hypocrisy, but I don't think the hypocrisy is like, how do I phrase this?